Nobody ever wins a street fight. What kind of Patrick Swayze bullshit is that? Do I teach self-protection? You need to make a distinction between what is absolutely necessary for your survival and something that you could have walked away from. This is why we call a street encounter a street attack, because it's a non-consensual attack that you try to avoid, and you've been forced to fight to protect yourself as the only option, versus what we commonly refer to as an ego fight. Now, if you're not at school, you shouldn't be getting into any kinds of ego fights on the street as an adult, because it's going to go one of probably three ways. One, you win your ego fight, and you're fortunate enough that that fight stays one-on-one. You beat somebody else and you prove that you're the big man. Now what happens after that? When you beat somebody in a fight as an adult, you take their dignity. You really offend somebody, cut into their sense of self in a really deep and profound way. Some people will walk away from that, some people will come back, and they'll come back at you. And if this is a person who lives in your neighbourhood, you beat them in a fight, great. A few weeks later, they're going to stab you in the back going down the street. Are they going to get together a group of friends to give you a kick in? What goes around comes around. You don't know what's going to happen. When you've done something like this to somebody else, there's a strong possibility that that comes back to you in some way, in some form. Another option is that you beat them and you hurt them, you injure them. People go to prison all the time for killing people whose heads fall and hit something hard on the ground, or they hit someone and they cause some kind of head injury. It's not child's play. You get into an ego fight with somebody, that didn't need to happen. There are potentially significant and serious consequences for that. Another option is fight escalates. What seems like a simple ego fight between you and somebody else, actually it's not that simple. Other people start coming in. Do weapons come into play? Do other people get hurt around you? Are you doing the best job of protecting your friends and the people you're with by getting into a fight? You should always be looking to de-escalate and walk away from any kind of conflict if you can. Street attack, if you're forced into defending yourself physically, that's the last option. You want to be walking away from somebody who wants to attack you. You don't want to be getting into a physical confrontation with that person, because then your chances of success are reducing all the time. If you can keep things at that de-escalation level, you can walk away from somebody, you can change their mind, you can attract attention, all these things, the chances of success are all much higher. Once you get to that physical encounter with somebody who's dangerous, then your chances are going downhill. It's the last thing you want to do. It's necessity. So ego fights, even when you're at school, the bully, sometimes you've got to stand up for yourself, you've got to fight, and it just happens that way because things happen quickly. That bully that comes up to you, you end up fighting them and beating them, that's great. You proved yourself, you stood up for yourself. But who's this kid? This kid who's bullying you, who's bullied at home, who's bullied by other people, who just wants to be liked. There's never a simple, good outcome to a fight. At school, people can be injured too. The same things apply. You're taking somebody's dignity, you're really upsetting somebody on a deep level, and that's going to stay with them for the rest of their life. Did that fight need to happen? Could you have walked away from that fight? Could you have walked away from that fight and that person become a friend one day? Maybe. There's something to this Patrick Swayze stuff. Does anybody ever win a street fight? I don't think so. I don't think so. And the older you get, there are more risks, more serious implications. Don't do it.